This is Carson TV News, your capital city news source.
Hello, I'm Courtney Bloomer, and you're watching Carson TV News, your source for Nevada's capital city news. Welcome to our special Veterans Day edition this week. Carson TV News wants to thank all of our veterans for your service to our country. Our top story this week in Carson City: 2 applicants were notified last week by the Nevada State Division of Public and Behavioral Health that they had received provisional certification to operate a medical marijuana dispensary. 7 provisional licenses for marijuana cultivation facilities were awarded in Carson City, and 4 applicants received license approvals for production facilities. There were no applicants in Carson City for independent testing laboratories. Those who receive a provisional certification from the state have 18 months to comply with all applicable government requirements and receive a business license to operate the establishment. The seasonal time change last week really throws some people for a loop. Star Nixdorf from Paradise Spa is here to share some tips to ramp up your energy after the time shift from daylight savings time back to standard time.
Hi, this is Star with Paradise Salon Spa Wellness. And today's health and wellness tip is going to be how to amp up your energy level. Now that the sunlight is diminishing and the days are getting shorter, you might be feeling a little out of it, a little more, dare I say, tired. So what can you do to counteract the effects of this lack of daylight that we're experiencing going into fall and winter? And here are 4 simple things that you can work on. 1 is get enough sleep. And if you find that you can't fall asleep or stay asleep, it could be your autonomic nervous system is in sympathetic overload. And that means you need to find a way to calm down, de-stress. And one of the main ways you can do that, deep diaphragmatic breaths, very, very controlled, like you would do in Tai Chi or in my I Chi class at Paradise, or say yoga classes. Second thing that you can do to help yourself: skip the junk food and the alcohol. I know, I'm asking you at the time of Thanksgiving and Christmas and the eating apocalypse to leave the cookies on the plate, but your body gets an overload of these artificial stimulants, or alcohol actually can make it so that you can't sleep well because it prevents your body from going into a nice deep REM sleep. So that's the second way to amp up your energy levels. Third, schedule some fun. Find some laughter. Get together with your friends. Believe it or not, looking forward to having a game night or some way to get your brain engaged in those fun activities will help your energy levels tremendously. And number 4, exercise. Find exercise that really pumps up your blood flow, because when your brain gets all that additional oxygen and blood, it performs better and your whole day will be more energized if you can work in a half an hour exercise 5 days a week. That's the current recommendations that are out there as a bare minimum. Half an hour, 5 days a week. Get your blood pumping. You can do it at the gym, you can take a walk, you can come see me in Paradise and use our warm saltwater pool to exercise. But there you got it. Those 4 things can help you really pump up your energy levels during this low sunlight time of the year. Come see me anytime at Paradise and be well.
Thank you, Star. Lori Bagwell defeated incumbent John McKenna to capture a seat on the Carson City Board of Supervisors in last week's election. Our staff's reporter Jeff sat down with the incoming Ward 3 supervisor to chat about her goals for her upcoming term.
Hi, Jeff Vast here with Lori Bagwell. Lori has been elected as the supervisor of Ward 3 in our recent elections. And we're here to talk with Lori a little bit, get to know her, and understand some of the priorities that she brings to our Board of Supervisors over the next 4 years. So, Lori, welcome.
Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you come to Nevada and Carson City, and what do you do here?
Well, my parents brought me from a California when I was 4 years old because they thought the Bay Area was just a little too big for them and thought they would raise their children in a smaller community. So I've been here since I was 4.
Graduated from Carson High?
I graduated from Carson High and Western Nevada Community College at that time.
Okay, great. And so then what do you do other than be a supervisor for Carson City?
Well, I've worked 30 years in the state government. I ended my career at the Department of Corrections as the deputy director. And then my husband and I decided that we would open a business in Carson City, so we own Charlie's Grilled Subs at the Carson Mall.
Oh, okay.
So we're small business owners that work their store every day.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, Lori, what do you think, first of all, congratulations on being elected. 7,500 voters voted for you, which was a majority, and so that's congratulations to you.
Thank you,
and but for the folks that didn't vote for you, maybe not know you, what are some of the things you stand for? I see you've got a nickel here in your hand. So
Buffalo nickel.
so what is that, and what does that remind you of? What does that bring to us?
Well, 25 years ago, my husband gave me 2 of these Buffalo nickels in my Christmas stocking, of all things. And I thought, why are you doing this? And he says to me, well, you're the only woman that I know that can rub 2 nickels together and get a 6th penny. And I've kind of kept those whole 25 years, my whole working career, because they actually remind me what my role in government is, and that is to be a caretaker of the taxpayers' money. And so that's what I hope to bring to the Board of Supervisors, is that I always make every decision with the best interest of the community and the taxpayers, and that I know my job is to take care of their money.
Wonderful. And what do you think some of the priorities for the Board of Supervisors will be over the next 4 years? Obviously, we've got this downtown redevelopment happening, some other things on the agenda. So what do you think are some of the important issues that you'd like to talk about?
Well, for me, I know that I'd like to make sure the animal shelter gets completed. We should be seeing some drawings and some design work on that shortly, but I think that that's definitely something we need to get accomplished here as soon as possible. I'd like to work on some economic development around the airport. I think that's where we have some property and land that the city can work with and expand so that we can put more of our taxpayers to work here in Carson City. I know the Tesla project is coming, but I'd like to see if we can't capitalize on that right here in our home and have the people stay close to home to work so they don't have to drive so far.
Right. Well, we've talked a little bit about the Tesla project on some previous news broadcasts, so that's definitely part of what Carson City's looking forward to. May not be quite as direct as maybe Fernley or some of the outlying areas, but definitely some possibilities for Carson City growth there. So that's going to be exciting too.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to being a part of that and seeing what we can do to do the best for our own residents.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Lori. I really appreciate you coming in and talking with us. Lori Bagwell, Ward 3 Supervisor-elect. You take office in the January meeting, right?
Right. It'll actually be January 5th because the 1st is a holiday.
Okay. So we'll see Lori on January 5th in the Carson City's Board of Supervisors meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate it.
It doesn't rain very often here in Nevada, but when it does, the consequences can be disastrous. As many local residents found out this summer, flash flooding can pose a real threat. To increase flood awareness in Nevada and encourage residents to be prepared before, during, and after a flood, the governor has declared November 10th through 15th Nevada Flood Awareness Week. At last week's Board of Supervisors meeting, the Downtown Corridor Conceptual Plan was approved. The new plan includes widened sidewalks, bicycle travel lanes, a center turn lane, and pocket parking along the length of the corridor. The plan will also encompass upgrades to the city's public utilities. Additionally, 70 new trees will be planted along Carson Street to replace those currently in the median. The price tag for the upgrades will be funded in part by the 1/8-cent sales tax increase, along with other funding sources. Other projects being funded by the sales tax include corridor projects on East William, North and South Carson Streets, the Multipurpose Athletic Center, and a new animal shelter. The Parks and Recreation Commission last week approved the renaming of Edmond Sports Complex in South Carson City in honor of Pete Livermore. The former Carson City supervisor and state assemblyman passed away last month. He was an ardent supporter of athletics in our community. The Carson High School Senators had home field advantage on their side Friday night as they took on the Douglas Tigers in one of the state's biggest rivalries. The Senators were victorious 49-6 in last Friday's football matchup. Here's the rest of sports.
Hi, I'm Keith Barnett with this week's Sports Wrap-Up. The season came to a close last Tuesday for the Carson High girls soccer team as Spanish Springs took a 2-1 victory. Following a great start to the season, the Senators lost their last 4 to end the season at 9-6-2. Carson's boys soccer team won their game against Spanish Springs last Monday 3-2 to start the playoffs, but were knocked out by Galena on Wednesday 2-0. The Carson High volleyball team defeated Reno 3-0 Tuesday night in the first round of the NIAA Division I playoffs, followed by a 3-1 win Thursday over Reed, setting up the championship game on Saturday against rival Douglas High. The Tigers came out on top, winning 3 of 5 sets to become the Division I regional champions, but both teams will advance to the state tournament. First up for the Senators will be Coronado High from Henderson.
On average, more than 2,000 crashes occur statewide every year due to unsafe driving in snow, ice, and other wet conditions. As winter approaches, the Nevada Department of Transportation and Nevada Highway Patrol are providing winter driving tips to help motorists drive more safely throughout the upcoming season. Remember to slow down and leave plenty of space between your vehicle and others. Stay safe on the road in any weather by always wearing a seatbelt and focusing on the road ahead instead of on distractions. Updated state road conditions, from winter road closures to traffic and road incident information, are available 24/7 by dialing 511 or by logging on to nvroads.com before driving. Thanks for tuning in for this week's edition of Carson TV News. I'm Courtney Bloomer. We'll see you next week.